Well, I'm just going to do a review of where I'm at on this 1969 TR. I showed you before where I've got the chassis, the motor, suspension, everything basically brand new, and it's finished. And I was talking about how I had a shell in here that I decided not to use and went over and started to use another one. And this is sort of where I'm at on this shell. As you can see, it's lots of old and lots of new. I put in new, I don't know what you call it, it's the firewall here. But I built up the new stiffener and kick plate and wheel well brace. That's all new. It's all been spotted and welded into the toe kick. It's all spot welded in along here. The side brace is in. This is new material. This is a new rocker, inner, outer. There's a new floor pan in there as well. I put in the new firewall base out of the other 60, well that was actually 74, I gutted that one out of. This is just where I'm at. I've got the pillar post, A-post cleaned up. I've got to do some webbing and some cleaning up down in here to match my rocker. But that's the new floor pan in there. And reason I've got this on the old chassis is because I'm using the old chassis as a level guide here and here. I've just got it bolted down right in there just to draw it down and hold it in place. I've got the floor over there. It's just in there loosely. It's not tightened up at all. But down in here, B-post, that's all in. The new inner fender and the wheel well are all finished up right back. The new I don't even know what they call that panel. This panel is in. Eventually I'm going to have to do some spotting and filling right in here. But one of the problems that comes up when you do this kind of thing is getting your dimensions and getting it sort of set up and true. So that's why I do them 1/2 at a time. Because when I do this side, I use that side as my measuring references as to what I'm going to do to this side. Now that this side's in and I've confirmed it, then I can use this side to refer for that one. But it's all going in. I've just got these just clecoed into place. Pins and whatnot. This is all loose. Eventually that'll get spot welded. But all this works out to my clearances this way and this way. Get that set up. Wheel well's just in there loose. I'll be welding in all where I've drilled out the old spot welds. I can do a weld in there. On the outside I can't get a spot weld back because of the reach on the inside. But B-post here, I have to take the guts out of the old original to get the latches that go in here for the top and the cover frame. It's sort of a bugger to do. You've got to take them all out, re-spot them in, then tap them. Most of them have got broken screws and everything. But just down in here, we've got the top. I'm just fitting it out to see how I can get that properly spliced. And once this goes in permanently, I put in the rocker stiffeners. They mount right on the chassis. You can see the chassis is just sitting underneath there. I put the same shims back in that came out. I'll tighten that down when it comes time to start tacking it together. I've got to take the bottom of that toe plate out and straighten it up. I'll extend it down the bottom half just like I did that one over there. And once I've got this side, then I can use this side sort of spotted in, then I can use that side as my guide for measurement. And once that's done up, then I can do a lot of finishing and buffing weld heads, flattening stuff out. I've got a few fillets and whatnot I've got to continue over into there just to cover them up and make it a nice tight fit. Once this part's all done, then this other side of the front wheel well, this all comes out. You can see this has been spliced in. Somebody's riveted in one from some other car. I've made a new one over there. I don't have to make a new one here. Reason being is I've actually, from the same chassis or the same frame I got that piece out of, I've got the front wheel well, bulkhead set up. I can salvage off of here. This side's in great shape. This is in great shape. That side that I didn't use, I made a new one because that's got all rust from the brake fluid drip. Strips the paint, then it starts to rust. Once this part's all in, I can use these side bulkheads as my guide. I bought some new ones. Problem is the new ones are off by 3/4 of an inch on overall length. And the problem is it all refers back to here on your firewall mount or your instrument panel mount. The new ones are actually long by about 3/4 of an inch. So I might still use them, but I have to find out and use this as my measurement reference, because it all comes down to my front chassis mount point. And that's where it's all at. But once these pieces are all in and clean, then final finish, or final buff and everything, then I'll stiffen up the inside. I'll put a temporary frame and brace all in the inside, hoist it off the chassis, and once it's hoisted off the chassis, then I can roll it over, clean up the whole bottom side. Most of it's done, new floor pans and everything. I've got to do some cleanups on the rear diff cover and the trunk bottom, or storage bottom, and then just slowly completely bring this thing up to a finish and get it ready for paint. And once it's all painted up and shelled up, then it's time to fit. Like I've had a rear fender on there. You just use that as a guide for getting my forward and back set up. I've got the other rear fender up there, and I've got a couple new front ones. I've got 4 good used ones down in storage. I might use the originals off of this car. They're not in too bad a shape, other than some rocker damage on the bottom damage on the fenders. They're in pretty good shape, so I might just use them on this car. We'll see.